Hey guys, it's me, Down Under Tea, and we are back again for episode 124 of Meet Me in the Bunker. And it is a cold night here in the bunker in Adelaide. It is 9:43 p.m. South Australian time. It is the 10th of the 6th, 2025 in the PM. So we are coming to you live from my little bunker here in South Australia. So I hope you will all, hang on, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me because my little buzzer thing wasn't working, but I was looking at the wrong one. So that's on me. But how is everybody? I hope to see a few people here tonight. I've got my ex playing in the side screen here just in case it freezes up. I can reboot. I can see it's freezing up. But we've got so much to chat about tonight. It's 9:45 here, as I said. I had a few technical difficulties getting this thing happening. I had it set all day, and then when I went to hit the live stream, like the last two steps that you have to do, I got the old boom, and it wasn't accepting it. The ingress wasn't working, and because I'm doing this again for the second time in a row through Rumble Studios. So I'm hoping that it all goes well, and perhaps if we can start building up a bit of a community here, because I'm actually streaming live right now to X, to my Facebook page, to YouTube, and here on Rumble. But my upcoming interview with Jack Maxey will only be streaming on Rumble, and I may do it through Rumble Studio, but I might just turn off all of my other live streams so that it is an exclusive to Rumble. So keep your eyes out for that. Good news. I'm finally on the broadband internet, the wire to the house, so the fibre to the premises rather than the fibre to the node, which, touch wood, means I should not get any interruptions this evening, any dropouts, any freezes. I'm praying, touching wood, touching everything, that it doesn't. And I have a glitch-free stream, well, except for the first glitch, but there's always a glitch. No matter how hard I prepare or how hard I try to get myself ready for the live stream, there's always a glitch. And, of course, whenever I start live streaming, my nose starts running. It's like an allergy. Anyway, so here we are, episode 124. My husband is back from, what seems like 100 years away at work, and he's in the house now. Hopefully he's watching the show. But he has been just as enthralled as I have by all of the rigmarole, all of the chaos and all of the drama that's been going on between Musk and Trump, but mostly with all of these riots happening in LA. And it's like, it seriously is it's a big bout of deja vu that is happening to us right now, because this is 2020 all over again. This is the summer of love without George Floyd. This is the summer of love Mexican illegals 2.0. Like, what are we doing here? What the hell are we doing here? I don't understand why any, like, Newsom and Mayor Bass, if they they're so busy doing interviews and podcasts and press conferences. Why don't they, if they believe with their whole heart that their idea of law is going to save them, is going to bring peace to everybody, because let's get down to it. That's what everybody wants in the end, is just peace. They want peace, they want serenity, they want safety, and they want stability. To be able to work, go to work, not get your car firebombed, you know, not asking for much. At least I don't think we are. But, you know, why don't they just go down there and stand right in front of those police officers? I'm not saying abandon them to the masses, but stand there in front of those police officers and try and communicate with these people. Just seriously, go down there and have a chat with them. You think that they are the friendly neighbourhood fruit pickers or arse wipers that you think that they are, then go down and have a talk with them. Get them to mow your lawns. Invite them down to the governor's mansion. Maybe they can trim the trees, buff the hedges. What is wrong with you? Why won't you allow the president of your country to wipe the streets with these people? They should all be, like, you should be building internment camps for these people. You want to scare them the way that the Germans did. Fucking sure scared the Jews. They got no qualms in calling us Nazis. No qualms in it at all. But then get them to stand up and take accountability for the laws of their own country by apprehending these people and serving them a big heap and helping of justice. Then get out of the way, like Tom Homan says. Get the F out of the way. Because what you're doing is useless, pointless, and all it gains is TikTok likes. And we're not on TikTok. MAGA isn't on TikTok. And if MAGA is on TikTok, it's only to police the leftist lunatics that are on there. But I'm not on TikTok. I hate TikTok. So, I mean, the big hoo-ha is, the big hoo-ha started, I think it was Friday or Thursday, when ICE were conducting a mass deportation raid on businesses. Again, as Tom Homan said, if these political identities, they all know who they are, and it's not just in California, it's all over the blue states. If these political identities would just hand over these people they've had their due process. They've had it. These people have deportation orders. And the ones that don't have deportation orders are generally criminals or criminally adjacent. And so in saying that, why would you want to keep them? Even if they applied, unless they lied on their application, you wouldn't let them come into the country if they applied the right way because of their backgrounds. Why would you want them to stay? Why would you want to waste your taxpayer dollars paying for these people to have due process when they never would have gotten in the country in the first place if they just applied the right way and were honest? What's the saying? It defies credulity. It defies credulity that anyone would stand up, line up on the streets. Actually, I'll take that back because it's not anyone. These people are paid agitators. Where are they getting the equipment? Where are they getting the money? Who's financing them? Where are they getting all of these signs? Where are they getting all of these flags to burn? All of this lighter fluid to set torches on, to set cars on fire. They must have, in the last 3 nights alone, there must be at least 2 million, 3 million, maybe $4 million worth of damage just in those Wayvo cars, or Wayvo, what are they called? Those automatic self-driving cars. Like, just in those cars alone, because they're paid for by the government. These are government-sponsored vehicles. So this is more of your taxpayer dollars going up in smoke. I saw a few of those, like, renter scooters that they have scattered all over the place, just tossed in on the pyre. They don't care. They ain't going to charge no one's credit card. Whose credit card are they going to charge? Yours. Your credit card. JP Citizen. That's whose credit card's getting charged for all of this shit that you're seeing on television. All of this. Let's see, I'm going to have to add this bloody screen share again now because I had to log out. And there we go. Come on, show me. Isn't it doing it? There we go. Okay. We want this one, I think. No, we want... This one. See, it's screwed up all of my settings. Okay, so we want screen share 1, cams 1 and 2. Okay, that's why camera 2's on, but it's not on because I've got the cover on. You see. So what I might do is invisible that one, and then move me. Yell is. Move myself down here a little. Go. Now, if I unmute these guys, we can hear what they're saying.
But the police chief is getting his orders from her. So there's a miscalculation or communication going somewhere because his guys are responding to his leadership and he's responding to her. So what's going on? I know you hear the same thing from the cops on the ground.
Right. From the cops on the ground, quite candidly, they're getting their responses from their leaders, whether it's Chief of LAPD Jim McDonnell or the Sheriff Robert Luna of LA Sheriff's Department. They literally have, the LAPD has over 8,000 officers. The Sheriff has over 10,000 officers. They're dealing with this civil unrest, and quite candidly, if the mayor, the governor, and the president are having a political squabble above them, that's not what they're dealing with on the ground. They're doing an incredible job on the ground. And again, it started out difficult.
They're doing the best that they can with what they've got given.
Is backing
like,
them,
what do you expect from them?
In holding criminals accountable.
Dave, Nathan, real quick. If the ICE was able to communicate with the LAPD, how much smoother and safer would things be?
If they had been able to communicate from the beginning and they established that perimeter from the beginning, it would have been a lot better.
But they don't.
That is part of the problem, yes, is that we do not have those smooth lines of communication between the federal immigration authorities and the local law enforcement officers.
Yeah, it's sad. Mr. District Attorney, we appreciate you going on. It's not because ICE doesn't want to have a relationship with them. It's the locals that are saying that they can't. They didn't even respond to an officer assist call. But Mr. District Attorney, we appreciate you joining the program.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sanctuary. ICE can't talk. The federal, the locals can't talk to or coordinate with ICE in Los Angeles and New York City, too. Meanwhile, Steve is taking his morning stroll in Miami, and it looks like he found a friend. His surprise guest is joining him next.
Oh, there we go. So Steve Ducey is Steve Ducey's been relegated to the special spot.
Be scary.
Just mute this and go back to here. So as you can see, everybody is like in overdrive about this. And why is it doing that now? Everybody's in overdrive about this. So, okay. No, that's not what we want. We had this before. Ugh, I hate technology. Anyway, everybody's in an uproar about the riots roaring away. You can't really blame them for any of it. I mean, the peaceful, law-abiding citizens of Los Angeles, like the greater suburbs of Los Angeles, where all these places, this is taking place in all sorts, all parts of it. The other day it was in Compton, I believe. Santa Ana, they said the other day. I've seen posts on X promoting people. There was a lady that posted on X. Let me see if I can get it and show it to you. She said that she received this tweet, and there it is. Okay. So if I go back to here, there we go. And then I'll click on here and we'll see what she's got to say. Does that sound like it's dubbing out or what? Okay. Open this. Okay.
Professional radical operative. I'm 55 years old. I got a crazy sales job, a stupid long commute. My body's falling apart a little bit more every single day. But I'm going to be at the Baltimore No Kings protest June 14th. I am sick of Trump turning this country into just one big pyramid scheme, enrich his billionaire friends even more, all by sucking out our health, our money, our social safety net, our due process, our joy, because they are freaking vampires. Only the American people are going to stop it. NoKings.org to find the protest near you. Professional radical operative. I'm 55 years old. I got a crazy...
There you go. She's 65 years old. She's a professional radical. Professional means she's getting paid. Someone somewhere is paying her for this catastrophe that you have to endure now. Someone somewhere is paying her for it, as well as all of the other people that are being paid for their diligent behaviour on the streets of California. Now, I don't know how long it's actually going to take people to get that through their heads, that these people are not there doing this, destroying your property, destroying your neighbourhoods, putting the fear of God in probably most children. They are not there for the betterment of your future, of your America. They are there being paid by outside sources who mostly cannot be named or will not be named, like NGOs and George Soros's and the Bill Gateses of the world. Who's funding these people to do this? I mean, look, if it was up to me, I would paint them all in that bank robbers ink. I would just go out there with the water cannons filled with that ink that they put in the packs that they put in the bank notes if you get robbed, and just fill the tanks up with that and just go down the street and just paint them all. Like, paint them all from head to toe. Doesn't matter what they're wearing. It'll soak through. It'll go through to their skin. You just drench them in the stuff. Literally drench everything. Make it blue. then you just go around casually, pick up blue people, lock them up. And when they ask why they're being locked up, because you're blue. Because you're blue, that means you were here on this day. So guess what? You broke the law. You go into jail. It's pretty simple. I don't know why they don't do it. I don't know why they don't find some alternative if there's toxins in it that they're worried about. I don't know. They don't worry about it going on bank robbers, so why do they worry about going on these people? They don't deserve any mercy. What mercy did they show you? What mercy did they show the people that were perhaps in those driverless cars when they got stopped? Because, I mean, I hope people realise that these driverless vehicles, they are, like, if you're driving one that you have of your own, which they're all about to be rolled out apparently in California, compliments of Elon Musk, but if you're driving one of these vehicles or you're in one of these driverless vehicles, and it's just like those little carts that you see in LA that go down the street delivering lunches. If you step in front of it, they stop. They stop. They're trying to avoid accidents. And while accidents have gone down with these Waymo, whatever they're called, Waymos, because when a pedestrian is like engrossed in their phone and walking across the street, not looking, the Waymo knows to stop. But when a mob of people with Molotov cocktails, bricks and bats step in front of the Waymo, it doesn't realise that they're protesting and they're there to rip the tyres off of the car. It will stop. Now, if they start beating on that car, they jump on that car and you're stuck inside of that car, let's just say you're on the way to the airport, innocently on the way to the airport, or you're with your family on the way to the airport. God forbid you've got little children in the car and your Waymo happens to take you by that route. And there you go, you're stuck in that with your child. And they're swamping the car. Do you think they're paying attention? Do you think they're looking to see who's in the car? Do you think they would be gracious enough to step back and say, whoa, no, boys, no, kids in there. There's kids in there, let it go. Do you think any of those people that we have seen rioting on the streets of Los Angeles over the last 4 nights would have any capacity for the compassion of the people inside those vehicles? Because if you do, you might as well go take up a bat or a whatever that it is that they're using, the weapon of the day, umbrella, frozen bottle of water, and join them. Because seriously, that's what's happening. And I've been talking to people on Twitter tonight about this transgender sports thing, which I wholly agree. Boys should not be in girls' sports, right? I agree with that. This particular case was a netball. Now, I played netball for many, many years. I've played mixed netball. I've played ladies netball. I've played girls netball. I've played with opponents that were men that were 7 foot tall. I've played with opponents that were women that were 7 foot wide. I've played with opponents that were, teenagers. And like a 15-year-old teenager that towered over me sometimes. So netball is probably not the best example to use as far as trying to push the issue of men in women's sports, because that has been a thing. And like, I don't know if anyone knows it, but if you go into the lower, the child elementary school levels of netball playing, they're already letting boys play in the girls' teams. They don't call them girls netball anymore. They just call it netball. And just like football or Auskick, girls can play Auskick in school. These are issues that we are allowing them to happen. I don't think that little kids should be excluded from anything as long as they realize the part and the role that they play in that side. This isn't about mixing genders as much as it is removing our ability to choose anything anymore. We cannot choose to be in a female sporting league or sporting club. We cannot choose to be on a female bridge team because there is no, we have allowed the erosion of our own being, our own selves. We have allowed that erosion to happen. It started with allowing abortion. It started with making abortion easy. It started with burning the bra, liberation for women. It started with all of that. We liberated ourselves right out of a job. That's what we've done here. We have lost the ability to choose. And far worse than that, what we've lost is the ability to stop them taking the power for us to choose from us. We've lost that ability. We're donezo. How did we go with COVID? When COVID happened in 2020 and we tried to protest mandatory vaccinations, how did we go with that? First responders went from hero to zero in. How did we go with that? We weren't even a force to be, I don't know, fed lunch to, let alone reckoned with. We failed. We failed in that response to the COVID vaccines. We've been failing in girls and boys and girls sports for a long time. If we really wanted to keep it boys, girls, mixed, then that's what we should have kept it. Because these things exist. This is not like it's not like somebody just invented the wheel by having a mixed football team or a mixed netball team or a mixed swimming team. Why is it so hard to designate those categories and then live with it? In a mixed team, you can be a mixed team. You can be the girl or the boy as long as there's ratios and that fulfills the ratio. It's not going to stop it's not going to stop transgenders competing, but it is going to stop them beating people that don't have a choice but to compete against them. That's the problem we have here. We've been stripped of the ability to choose for ourselves what we want and what we don't want in our lives. Because somewhere, someone down the line is going to complain about it. Someone's going to get upset about it. Someone's going to spit the dummy and throw the toys out of the cot. And then we get made to be called the Nazis, the abusers, the killers, the granny killers. Remember that? Us unvaccinated people, we were murderers. People were dropping dead by the thousands in front of our very eyes, and we allowed it to continue. Women and men went to work. Why? Because they had to. Who knows that they had to? Who is the one entity above all the entities that knows that you have to go to work? And in order for you to go to work, you will and must jump through whatever hoop they place in front of you. There was only one way to end that tyranny, just like there is only one way to end this tyranny. And that way is by women en masse, standing up and forfeiting the sport that they love. The team has to forfeit the sport that they love. In this particular case with the girl from netball, did she raise any questions with her coach or with her teammates prior to entering the game? Did she do a lot of things before going on and saying, victim? Okay? Because you can't make a choice knowing that the person that's standing next to you is fully capable of beating you to a pulp and then cry victim. You just can't. Believe me, I've stood under 7-foot-tall blokes that, like, could dribble me down the court without a second thought. And I knew that they were blokes. It didn't really matter that they were blokes. What mattered was, could I get over their reach or around their reach? Could I bluff them into breaking the 3 feet rule and getting done for contact and then being forced to stand aside? Like, netball is a non-contact sport. It's not like he pounded her or jumped on her. You know, if you want truth to be told, in my experience, the female ladies-only netball teams are more vicious and more violent than any mixed team I ever played on, any male I ever played up against. Most of them were quite gentlemanly to a certain degree. You know, when you're playing, you're playing. You're playing a win. That's what sport is. You're playing a win. But, you know, again, I'm just going to say we failed. We're failing again. We're going to keep on failing until we get our shit together and have got balls enough to take down critical infrastructure by just not going in, just staying in bed. That's the only way that they will realise, because without us, the critical infrastructure that they rely on breaks down. They can't do their job if we don't do ours. They know that we believe in the almighty dollar and making our mortgage payment. But, you know, doesn't matter whether you were cleaning toilets or doing brain surgery. One day would cripple this country. One day of every man, woman and child taking a day off of work would critically affect the function of this country. You can just imagine it now, couldn't you? Phones would be ringing off the hook. Bosses and government ministers would be going into work and they'd be wondering where all their minions are to do their paperwork and file their briefs. Come on. They live for this. This is their power trip. This is their oxygen controlling us. It's never been about anything else. I've got a copy of the Constitution right there. It's never been about anything else. I challenge anyone to read it and find anywhere in the pages of the Constitution where it mentions we the people as the beneficiary of something good in that. Because you won't. You won't find it. I mean, it's let's face it, it was created by a group of elites that decided that we were putting our big boy pants on and we don't really need England to tell us what to do, but we don't really want to tell them to piss off entirely. So how about we just like form a commonwealth and will be like under your umbrella. So we're not really a free country. We are not a republic entity on its own, of its own accord, like America is. We don't have freedom of speech. We don't have a great constitution like America has. The only constitution that has survived 400 years plus. So, well, in 400 years plus. So, you know, it's either going to get worse before it gets better, or it's just going to keep getting worse. And that's about all the hope I can give you on that one, because it really is a matter of showing the people that are in charge of whatever it is that you want to stop happening. It's a matter of taking down their functionability. Once they lose that, even for a day, even all of this stuff that's going on the internet with these riots, like I said, they're advertising, and this woman's one of them. Imagine if all of the social media platforms just went dark for 48 hours. Just 48 hours of no social media. No one could get on anything. TikTok, not Facebook, not Parler, none of them. Stop the planners from planning anything for 2 days. I mean, it might not stop them for long. They'll quickly regroup. But they'll certainly know that they can't just openly and defiantly advertise for paid agitators to go and save the country from Trump, because that's not what they're doing. They're destroying your shit. That's what they're doing. They're taking it to pieces, block by block. This is Déjà vu of the summer of love, Mexicana style. And admittedly, I have seen only a few Palestinian flags, but the reports that were coming in about the gatherings tonight, there was a lot of mention of kafirs and Palestinian flags. So here we go. This is being melded into something else, evolving into another riot, another protest for a different reason. We have different protesters protesting for different things, all in the same spots. They're not protesting, is what I'm saying. They're just rioting. They're just destroying your shit. Anyway, I think that's enough about that topic. The promise that Donald Trump's put active duty Marines on the ground, apparently 700 on their way. Active duty means that they would be armed, which could, escalate things or take them down quicker. I think that they should just go in there, as I said, with the ink, or maybe bulldozers, or drop a big trawling net over the top of them and just scoop them all up and take them to jail. Hang them up from a crane for a couple of hours in the freezing cold. Get some ingenuity happening. Use your imagination. Anyway, so that's just that there's not really much more that you can say about what's going on with that. And of course, there is all of the Big Beautiful Brawl to talk about that's been happening. I mean, talk about Splitsville. I mean, talk about out of the blue. Although if you were in the inside, you'd sort of had an inkling. Some of us had an inkling. I pretty much thought this was going to happen. I had a feeling this was going to be Bannon-esque when Steve Bannon, excuse me, was unceremoniously booted from the administration in 2018, I think it was. I was kind of expecting that, purely on the basis of the fact that Elon Musk is a very boisterous figure. and like people remember him going up on the stage when he was being introduced at the Trump rallies, and he jumped up. I mean, it was very Tom Cruise on the couch, Oprah. Remember that? Like jumping up and down. You know, his belly was hanging out, and he reminded me of an autistic child that just, I don't know, got his first putt-putt in golf. Trump Musk feud. Let's see what's up on YouTube. 4 days ago. That's too long. Okay. Let's see what, be interesting to see how CNN presents it. Okay, let's watch this one.
I tried so hard not to buy this.
I'll be quiet, lady. We'll watch this. And get it. There we go. Let's watch this and see how CNN has spun it. Now, when is this from? This is 2 days ago. So as we know, Trump and Donald Trump and Elon Musk had a big bust up. He threw the ring in his face, or the key in his face, and said, "I never want to see you again." But deep down, we all know that they love each other and they really can't do this without each other. So, you know, we're all praying and hoping that the love story will continue after a few little bumps in the road and maybe some relationship therapy. Now, in relationship therapy is going to happen. I've got a really good name for you both, but I think they're actually well on the way to mending it themselves. Let's face it, Elon Musk had Trump said it, he just went crazy. He just, for some reason, was there something with the eye? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate because people are trying to say that Musk said that X punched him in the face and gave him black eye. Listen, I've had kids. I would believe that could happen. I don't know how many times I had to go out with a fat lip or a, bruised cheek from the kids headbutting me and stuff like that. Accidentally, of course. He said he asked for it, so he asked for it. There's no reason to not believe him unless there's video proving otherwise or audio proving otherwise. But I'm going to stop at speculation that there was a fisticuffs brawl in the halls of Congress between what they're saying is Besant and Elon Musk. Apparently Besant called Elon Musk a fraud, and Musk checked him in the halls and they had to be broken up. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know. It could have been just like a huggy sort of, in the throes of miscommunication and tension, because they are trying to achieve a lot. Let's face it. They're fucking trying to achieve a lot here. Everybody wanted Doge. Everybody that voted for Donald Trump wanted Doge. They wanted it. They wanted it to happen when they started hearing these numbers coming out of $1 trillion of possible savings. That everybody was ecstatic. They could have done a poll and it would have been like 70% of the country's like, yes, Doge the fuck out of everything. So he tried. He went in there, he tried as he might. He could only come up with $180 billion worth of cuts of factual fraud and abuse that could be cut, that he had receipts for. So all of these people, you know, the big balls and all of those people that he hired, apparently they're still staying with the administration. They're not being doged. Elon's contract was for 130 days. Yes, everybody thought at the very beginning that, oh, they're just so in love. It's just going to keep going and going because Trump has the option to extend it. But he also has the option, if they make up, to invite him back in for another 130 days. So this isn't over by any means at this point. The biggest and the hardest thing I think Trump will have be able to come back from is the Epstein comment and the impeachment comment. I mean, look, 3 weeks ago, Elon Musk was sitting in the White House with the president telling Sean Hannity that he loves the president. He's never met a more honourable man. He's never seen him do anything wrong. We've seen the clips. I'll see if I can grab one of the clips anyway. But let's watch this and see how CNN spins it. This woman here is always good for a laugh. So let's watch. It's about 10 minutes, I think.
A little over a half an hour ago, posted that he will apologize profusely as soon as there is a dump of the Epstein files, apologizing to Donald Trump. So not exactly backing off some of the most salacious accusations here.
Oh, there you go. That one's new. I haven't seen that one.
Let's start with the Trump of it all. I mean, he really is trying to not turn up the volume all the way up. Why do you think that is?
First, can I just say, and I don't usually talk like this because I'm not persuaded by identity politics, but can we get some women in charge of shit? I'm sorry.
Yes,
like,
yes.
This is the cringiest, pettiest, most childish fight for all of the concerns that we're too emotional. I am so embarrassed for men in this moment. I think that just needs to be said. But yeah, the Trump of it all, it's really interesting. Trump doesn't need Elon's money per se, but Republicans do. I'm not sure why Trump is kind of being a little bit restrained. I don't think I would call him restrained yesterday. I think they all went to DEFCON 5 pretty quick. And this idea of like mutually assured destruction, it's a really good concept when you have two powerful actors. They agree, if we attack each other, we're both going down. That usually works unless you have two people with like no impulse control. And these two people have no impulse control. So it went from like détente to DEFCON 5 in a matter of hours.
And Elon is still there. He's still all the way
He's
up
still
at
up there,
10.
right.
John is with us at the table. I mean, Elon...
Sorry, men, but like, get it together.
No, I'm with you. Believe me, I can't wait for the women to take over. I wish they would.
I mean,
but
Elon
can I just, I mean, respectfully, I did try to get a woman elected in 2016 and 2024. So,
well,
I mean,
the American people picked one in 2016.
Well, and I'm just saying that there were a lot of, for different reasons, a lot of reasons we don't have women elected president of the United States.
Exactly.
Now, but go ahead.
Of course. I think we're seeing that men are too emotional to work together. It's very sad. I'm a fan of morality and comedy, so I spent the day enjoying this. I think a lot of people had 135 days of a pressure valve emotionally ready to release, and for a lot of folks, it was a bit cathartic. I don't know how much good is going to come from this, but it was like porn for the angels. What we saw yesterday was like the Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic with the Benny Hill theme playing as a soundtrack. The comedy was beautiful. Two narcissists with no impulse control. Everyone thought they'd get along just great. You've got Trump accusing him of being a junkie. You have Mr. Musk accusing Mr. Trump of being a pedophile. And the Republicans are like, guys, can this just wait until we gut Medicaid first, please? It's not going to go away. It's not going to help anybody. And I think Trump is confident because he's already won. He knows the Republican Party will stay with him and not go with Musk. And I don't think he wants to add too much more sunlight to these accusations by responding.
I just feel like at this point, they're just trying to keep Elon from burning the whole house down.
Yeah.
And he could.
Yeah.
You know, whether rhetorically or whatever. I mean, he controls a major platform of disseminating information and sort of influencing how people feel about things.
But he's already made his feelings known about this legislation. I mean, he's already...
But now it's not just the legislation, it's also Trump. And Trump and Republicans and all of that.
I mean, do you think one more person making salacious accusations against Donald Trump is going to change, well, the last 10 years? I mean, I don't.
This isn't just one person.
I don't really believe that. And I think if there were really bad things about Donald Trump, we would already know about it. This is the most thoroughly vetted American in political history. And so I guess I just don't buy that piece of it. I think it's extremely regrettable that this relationship has splintered. And, you know, hopefully.
Scott Jennings, the voice of reason.
Are you surprised, Scott? Because, you know, I mean, you know, you're inside MAGA circles. Are you surprised that these two couldn't coexist forever? I mean, I'm not surprised.
You know, I'm not surprised at the friction, actually, between the more libertarian, newish Republican.
Exactly what I was just saying. I was expecting it.
These are two different sort of economic egos. I mean, they just are. That friction has existed in the party, so that doesn't surprise me. The personal escalation
is this libertarianism,
is surprising.
Though? Hold on, but is this really libertarianism, or is this not like classic conservatism? Like classic Republican ideology is you want to reduce the fiscal irresponsibility of the federal government.
Well,
I feel like I'm saying this not just truthfully. I think Elon is trying to hold Republicans accountable to their own statements.
There's nothing about Donald Trump that is a classic conservative. If you go back and you look at conservatives throughout history or Republicans throughout history, I mean, you can there is nothing that Ronald Reagan has in common with Donald Trump. There's nothing.
Peace through strength?
What?
Peace through strength?
No, I mean that's a facade. I mean, that's
too.
a slogan that actually Ronald Reagan attempted to uphold. Donald Trump does not. There's no George H.W. There's no George W. Bush. There's no John McCain in Donald Trump. So to say that he is trying to be this conservative is cosplay. He's reformed. He has drastically shifted the paradigm on what Republicans really are. The problem, though, with this battle between Elon and Donald Trump is something Republicans can't grasp, which is this fundamental fact. MAGA-ism, or MAGA, whatever you want to call it, politics, is non-transferable. It belongs to one man. It belongs to Donald Trump. And what Elon Musk is doing is tearing down everything else around that. He's going to make it entirely difficult for people like J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or Nikki Haley. Y'all remember her? Or people like Chris Christie, who want to find this vein to come in, maybe not Chris, but who want to find this vein to come in and try to slice that off. Elon Musk is going to make that really difficult.
But does anyone here believe that Democrats, and I'm not in either party anymore, Democrats will be dumb and craven enough to try and woo Elon back to the party a la Ro Khanna's big idea?
I think, like I said last night, I'll say it again. I think that Elon Musk is a necessary asset for particular battles. I think
Excuse me, this Democratic Party, I think rightly, accused him 4 months of being a Nazi, a lunatic, a drug addict, killing children with cancer with his job cuts. This is a man they are going to welcome back into the fold for his money?
No, I want to be particular.
Gross.
First of all, nobody said money, Essie.
No, Ro Khanna did say money.
You asked me a question, so I'm answering.
I'm wondering.
And what I am saying is that for this particular political moment, will I take him back to kill the big beautiful bill? The answer is yes. You know why? Because this bill is garbage. You know why? Because this bill will kick 11 million people off Medicaid.
Democrats use him to get Democrats elected.
I don't know about that, but I'm going to use him today in this moment.
It's worth noting that the reason the big beautiful bill is something he doesn't like is not because it cuts Medicaid.
Thank you so much. It's
actually perhaps because it doesn't cut it enough.
No, but it's very important.
So we have to keep that in mind. The priorities are not the same here between Democrats and Elon Musk.
No, I know, but if he wants to kill a bill kicking 11 million people off Medicaid, are you not going to take it?
I'll take it. What I'm saying is he doesn't get virtue for it. He doesn't care about the people kicked off Medicaid. He cares about the EV tax credit.
We're trying to
We got to go
I
here.
gotcha. This bill's not going to happen.
He also just a little...
And there you go. Let me just get back onto that previous page and let's see if we can find something a little bit more conservative to share. See if we can find something more conservative, say like a Fox News. Okay, billionaires will be billionaires, but I don't like this guy. Media Buzz, I just don't like him. See if we can find a Jesse take, because Jesse's good. Come on. Never put anything on YouTube. Let's just type in Okay, Bromance is over. 4 days ago. Big Beautiful breakup. This was a rumor. Trump and Musk to speak over the phone, which was just a rumor. Where is it? There was a Jesse one on today. Okay, let's do the 5. The 5 is good. I like the 5. I like Gutfeld. He always has a great take on things. Don't you agree? Okay, pause, and let's get this screen over here so I can see what I'm doing. And we want to screen share and play and get the volume going.
Travel ban 2.0 in the wake of the horrific firebomb terror attack against a Jewish gathering in Boulder, Colorado, done at the hands of an illegal immigrant who overstayed his visa. President Trump is issuing a sweeping new travel ban that covers 12 countries.
I don't know why we're talking about the travel ban, but
from 7
hopefully it goes into the feud. We'll see. It's only 11 minutes.
It can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. We want to get them out. We want to get them out now. We don't want to have other bad people coming into our country, but using the word bad, I'm being nice.
But the media smells a distraction, trying to make the travel ban all about Elon Musk's recent criticisms of President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The other obvious reason for announcing the travel ban tonight that will take effect on Monday is to turn our attention away from Elon Musk's war on Donald Trump.
Trump has issued a travel ban. And I think that is very effective for this president in terms of changing the direction of headlines.
The president made a series of announcements just yesterday going after former President Biden, announcing this, certainly knowing that it would change the topic.
Speaking of which, President Trump is responding to Musk.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than
Trump was right about everything.
And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. He actually went up in campaign for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
Oh boy, but Musk is firing back quite a lot on X, and it continues right now. It all started with this post that said, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election." Greg?
Yes.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I think what you're seeing is a battle between the purist and the pragmatist. I don't like it. I want it to stop. I want to tell them if they're both watching,
Greg.
knock it off. We're done with this. This is an incredible moment for our country. It's awake. It's optimistic. It's on board with the golden age. Don't sabotage it with the self-inflicted feud. You know, don't let the Dems get back up from the floor where they belong. You know, you got two really successful people, billionaires, and they both, I guess, have egos, but they also have different ways of seeing things. The great thing about this is we all see it. This is an incredibly transparent administration. This isn't a bug in the system. This is the system. So I want you to compare this system to the one, you know, that ended in 2020. Would you take a forceful president and a billionaire publicly feuding in public, you know, over an invalid president, you know, who was kept hidden from the public, leaving the country without a leader? I'll take this any day. At least I know what's going on and I can somewhat enjoy it, but I want him to stop. I've had it. This is like, it's like, I don't want to see my parents fighting. I just want them to get back to, I like Batman and Robin. I don't like spy versus spy. Can I talk, just finish up on all the outrage over the travel ban and stuff? This is a collision between adult actions and childish ideals. You know, the hysterics have gone without adult supervision for so long, and the muscle of deterrence have atrophied. They don't know what it's like. That's why when every time Trump takes an adult action, it's like a big bucket of ice water on their head. But the travel bans, deportations, the criminal roundups, these are a course correction necessary after 4 years of children running the candy store, doling out benefits and cash to everybody. They happily forfeited the adult role to be basically a global Santa Claus. I mean, you could have protected the country. This wouldn't have happened, but now the adults are in charge.
You know, Kayleigh, do you see this as a big distraction from all the good work that
And
this
everybody thought that
administration
Greg
has been able to
Gutfeld
do
was
up
just
to
a
date?
pretty
Will this only
face.
distract from any of those moments?
I don't see it as a distraction. Yes, the liberal media will go nuts over this. They have been all week. But this was predictable. You have the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and the
Actually,
most powerful
even
man
Greg
in the world,
Gutfeld.
President Donald Trump. For this to work, the richest man in the world would have had to subjugate his ego to the most powerful man, because guess who the American people elected? The man sitting behind the resolute desk you are looking at. And Elon Musk, he did a lot of good. He brought attention to spending, to cutting spending. No one wants to touch that issue. He touched it, and there was a lot of personal backlash. He lost value in his companies. He got death threats. But ultimately, President Trump is the one who won the election. For Elon Musk to say, I won Trump this election, President Trump won all of the swing states. He is the first person in the Republican Party to win the popular vote in 20 years. He had the highest raw vote total of any Republican nominee ever in the history of the party, increased double digits over the last 4 years among Latinos, Black, and young people. No amount of money bought that. What bought that was a movement. And Elon Musk had to decide, I'm either going to fold into this or go away from this. And he chose to go away from this. I think it's a sad thing to see. I agree with you, Greg. I don't want to see the adults fighting, but I do think this was predictable.
Well, Harold, what are your Democrat friends saying about what looks like a breakup at the moment?
So, Sandra, I'm glad you're here and glad Kayleigh's here. My Democrat friends are disappointed too. No one wants to see this. I don't think this is a Democrat or Republican thing. We should just call it for what it is. The adults are not in charge. The president did benefit from Mr. Musk. If you go back and replay and we talk about the things that we say on this show, we were right on border security. We were right on the cognitive decline of the president. And we thought we were right about this relationship with the two of them. I'm hoping, I agree with you, this is not a partisan thing, but I hope they're able to repair this. For the richest person in the world who happens to live in America and has dual citizenship, I think, but here in South Africa, and for the president of the United States who had a relationship a year ago, they were the greatest of pals. And for the world to see this is just simply not a good thing. Two, he said two things, Mr. Musk did, and the president said another thing, but Mr. Musk said, that he was responsible for this win and responsible for the Senate and the House. It's interesting the way he said that. I don't know if I agree with him on that. I think you make a good point, Kayleigh, but we're going to see what he means by that. Then he said something else. He said, the president's only around for 3.5 years. I'm around for 40 years. Now, I take that to mean to those in politics, Democrat and Republican, that I'm going to be a kingmaker, continue to be a kingmaker in politics. And then the president said that he would cancel some of the contracts, that the way to save money would be to cancel contracts. I've never been one to think that the president was totally consumed by revenge and retribution. Not in my party, and others have said it. I think at times he's human. He's got flesh, so he wants to punch back at people who punch him. But why, if you really believe, we said 12 weeks ago on this show that but for Elon, we wouldn't have a space program. But for Elon Musk, we might not have the ability to communicate around the globe like we do, and certainly Ukrainians wouldn't have been able to do what they did against Russia, but for Starlink. I've sat on this show and we bragged about his prowess as a technologist. So I just hope to Greg's points, I agree with you. I hope they're able to dial this back and de-escalate, because we may be motivated by different reasons, but I don't like it because it's not good for the country. It's not good for how we look around the globe. But I got to tell you, there are some of my Democratic friends, Sandra, who are saying, let them fight, just like they're just going with the old political kind of thing. If my enemy is fighting with the enemy, then it's okay. And then remember, Elon was a Democrat for a long time. So, and last, I don't mind the travel ban, but I do. It's interesting that Egypt is not a part of it, and the guy was from Egypt in Colorado. And as we talked about before, I wish they start tracking people who want to learn how to build Molotov cocktails online. If you go and try to build a bomb, we should know who you are. I can't buy Robitussin at a drugstore without presenting ID and being on camera. How can you go online to learn how to build a Molotov cocktail and we don't track you?
Jesse, I wonder if this means Harold's friends will start buying Teslas again.
Good question.
They never stopped. And maybe Trump will torch the one that Musk gave him. Sometimes when you're angry, you say things you don't mean. Greg mocked my hair last week, and I said he's on the Epstein list.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't mean that. I made it up.
How did you know, though?
How did Musk know? No one knows what the list is. He didn't know. But sometimes guys fight. Guys sometimes will punch you in the face, and the next night you're having a beer. Sleep with your girlfriend, and you patch things up.
Really?
Not your wife, your girlfriend.
Who are your friends? Yeah.
No one slept with my girlfriend, let's put it that way.
Oh, my word.
These guys are like roommates. They were living in close quarters for like the first 6 months of the year. They're just blowing off steam. The issue is donor maintenance. This guy's the mega donor. So you don't want him accusing you of being a pedophile, and you don't want him calling for your impeachment. I hope he doesn't mean that, but maybe they can patch things up. I mean, Vance called Trump Hitler, and he's on the ticket. My issue is that the media said that Musk was the co-president. He doesn't look like the co-president anymore. The media said Trump was doing favors for Elon Musk. Well, if you look at this big, beautiful bill, there's no favors for Elon Musk in it at all. Now, the big, beautiful bill, now he's got a beef with it. These are the things that Trump ran on and won on. Wall, ICE guys so you could do mass deportations. Military, F-35 ships, pay raises for the troops, and tax relief for everybody, no tax on tips. These are the things that won him the election. He didn't run on balancing the budget.
Yeah.
So this is the priority right now. You have 4 years to balance the budget. Yeah, there's a lot of pork in this thing. There's always a little pork, all right? But this is not a spending bill. This is the signature piece of Donald Trump's second term. This may be the last major piece of legislation Trump ever passes. Well, he might have 3 terms, but for now, we're saying this is it. Now, I don't like the fact that he said that he won the election. This guy got shot, popped back right up. Exactly. He won all the swing states. He was always ahead in the polls. The money was great. Trust me, the money helped. Thank you, Elon Musk. But if money wins elections, Kamala should have coasted. She had twice the cash. And if money wins elections, then Elon should have been able to win those seats in Wisconsin. So Trump so far has taken the high road. I think Elon right now, think about it.
Yes.
I thought he was going to call him a drug addict about an hour ago. He hasn't called him that yet.
Let's see.
I think Trump should just take the high road, let Elon blow off some steam. They're both powerful men, great men, and they'll patch it up.
The night is young, that is for sure.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News.
I agree with everything that Jesse just said. And it's all so perfectly true. Like, if Elon Musk dropped, I think it was like $1 million or $100 million in Wisconsin to get this judge over the line, didn't work. Kamala had $1 billion. $1 billion, $1.5 billion, I think she ended up spending in the end. She spent $1.5 billion in 100 days. 100 days. Do you know what I could do with $1.5 billion in 100 days? And I certainly wouldn't be campaigning to win the presidency with it. It would go to like paying off my family's debts and giving my husband the opportunity to fucking retire and maybe like feeding a small country. I don't know. I could do a lot more with it than she did. All she did was lose a goddamn election. So money doesn't win elections, Elon. You didn't win the election for Donald Trump. Donald Trump won the election for Donald Trump. Why? Because exactly what Jesse just said. He campaigned on all of those reasons. The wall, the border patrol, the deportation of 20+ million illegal immigrants that are siphoning your cash day in and day out. Even all of these things that they do, they go out there in teams, that costs money. All of this money is going to come from somewhere. It's actually going to come from the big, beautiful bill. But yes, they need to borrow money. They need to raise the credit limit. More fool you if you ever think they're going to stop raising the credit limit. More fool you, right? because this is the way business is done. You live on credit. Walt Disney knew he was rich when he realized that he owed the bank $7 million. He said, well, I must be rich because I owe the bank $7 million. They wouldn't lend me that money if they didn't think that I could afford to pay it back, right? So it is up to Congress to get the bill passed. Let's look at what is pissing Elon off, right? He's pissed off that the credits, the solar credits have been removed, or whatever they are, the credits for the electric cars have been removed. Now, we've got to look at that, and Stephen Crowder explained it really well. There was a program and there was a system of how those credits worked. And once you sold over 300,000 cars, or whatever the number figure was, once you started selling X amount of cars, you started losing your credits because it was deemed to the powers that be that, hey, people are buying your cars anyway. A lot of these people are buying them, and some of them aren't even claiming the solar credits, right? So this is how they gauge this. Now, as Donald Trump has said and always said and campaigned on, and Elon Musk agreed with once, I actually heard it with my own ears, that people should have a choice. Now, if you want your credits back, give people credits for petrol-powered cars or diesel-powered cars. Give them credits for those cars as well. Or take the credits away from everybody and save hundreds of billions of dollars. Woo! Isn't that what you're all about, Elon? You wanted to save hundreds of billions of dollars. You promised us $1 trillion in Doge. You could only come up with 180 billion with receipts. I don't doubt that there is billions more to be had, but we're not playing with amateurs here. There's no receipts for a reason, just like there's no records of Epstein's traffic customers, the customers who he trafficked these people to. There's no video of these people, according to Kash Patel, just because we're not playing with amateurs here. All of these things have been destroyed long ago, and if they're not destroyed, they are somewhere where no one ain't going to ever find them. Maybe in the bottom of that mine that Elon found out about. Maybe they're down there somewhere. Get on your little electric bike that they've got down there for you and scoot around and, I don't know, go through all the boxes. You might find something. Doge that place. But he's pissed off about that. He's pissed off about the Doge cuts that he did find not being codified into the bill to make them permanent. And there was, what was the other thing? Because there was at one point he actually said, I don't care about the tax credits, just codify the Doge stuff and don't raise the credit limit, don't borrow more money, which everyone's saying that. We're all saying we wish we didn't have to do this. We wish we didn't have to do it that way. But government is a whole entire different bitch. We all know it. We all have to figure out how to work with it, around it, or through it. That there are our options. And like I said earlier about the vaccine, we didn't do a fucking great job doing that. We didn't push that down. We didn't tamp that down in any way, shape, or form, anywhere in the world. Our first responders went from hero to zero in a matter of weeks, if not days, if not minutes, because they started saying they didn't want to take the vaccine. We let them do that. Don't make any mistake in thinking that you, me, and everybody else didn't have a part in allowing that to happen. Because we did. because we all had our excuses and we all had our reasons. I have to take it because I have to feed the family and I'm the only breadwinner and this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. We all had our reasons. If we were determined enough, if we were really caring enough about our health and well-being of ourselves and our families and friends, we would have stood down everything. We would have stood down from everything. We would have given them the 15 days to flatten the curve that they were never expecting. And that was the only way we could have done it. There would have been no essential workers, no pizza deliveries, no pawn shops open, right? Along with all the churches and everything else that they closed down, they would have all been closed down. What would they have done with that? That is the power of the people. And that is the only way the power of the people are ever going to get their power back. And it is to unite like these mofos are doing in LA. The only reason that they're doing it so efficiently, though, is because they're getting paid to do it. Because no one will pay us to sacrifice a day's wages. No one will pay us to, like, have to scrimp and save for a couple of weeks to prove our point to the government that we won't take this anymore. These people are getting paid by outside sources to disrupt your daily lives, and it's working all the way around. So like I said, Big Balls is staying, the whole Doge team is staying, but who's like, if this argument or this disaster between Trump and Elon is for real and is never going to be repaired, we need to keep an eye out for the guy on those teams. Big Balls could be and may very well be a plant and could very well be reporting to Elon Musk everything he finds every day, regardless of whether he's no longer under contract with the government or not. So we have to keep an eye on that. Again, you saw him jumping around on the stage like, he just won the lotto. He actually has more than the lotto could ever give anybody anyway, but he was acting like a spoiled brat, a petulant child. Oh, you wouldn't have won the election if it wasn't for me. And like, wait for the big bombshell. But Trump's in. How did he know? How would he know that Trump was in the Epstein files? How would he even know that information? Did he have top secret clearance to be looking at the Epstein files? If he did, then say he did. If he didn't, where did he get this information? Footnote, he has removed the post. He has removed the tweet from X saying that Trump was on the island. I don't know about the impeachment one, though. That could still be up there because he did say that he agreed that Trump should be impeached. And, like, what the actual F, Elon? At full disclosure, we've just recently purchased Tesla shares. We bought in the dip. I've been itching to get my hand on some of these shares. We actually had to buy a little bit higher than they were a few weeks ago because we didn't have our shit in order. But I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. He's still one of the most powerful men in existence with the money that he's got behind him. I don't know if starting a new political party is a wise idea. It may or may not work. He can afford to try it anyway. He can afford to fund it. If it fails, it fails. It's just another loss in his books. But personally, I think that's the only way is unity from the people that these things are affecting. The riots, the Doge cuts not being codified. Now, they're talking about splitting the bill to Senate because, as we know, this is going to go through Senate. Senate's going to pass it yet. Donald Trump wants it on his desk by July or June, something or other, June 21st or something. So it's got to go through the Senate. Then the Senate's going to bust it up, change it, do whatever they do. Then it's got to go back down to the House, be voted on. They're talking about splitting it into 2 bills, which means the House has to vote on 2 bills, which means there's no way it's going to get there before the end of June. Be lucky to get it before the 4th of July. And further on, just pushing the can down the road by extending this. So we're going to be talking, oh, the government's going to shut down. That's all that rhetoric's going to start happening again. Shut down the government. Don't spend any more money. You'll have Maxey and you'll have all the other naysayers going, yes, well, we should shut. How many times, oh, my God, how many times have we heard them say, let's shut down the government? On both sides. Both sides are guilty of this. And I think it's only ever been done 3 or 4 times in the history of my memory. I think it happened with Clinton because that's when the whole Monica Lewinsky thing started. She was an intern at the time and they were on a skeleton crew because the government had shut down. I think it happened briefly under Trump's first term. So, you know, we've got to be careful how we tread with all of this stuff because we keep hearing the same. This is why I say it's like deja vu of 2020. It was deja vu of Trump's first administration. We've heard all of this rhetoric before. It was Russia, Russia. The labels have changed. The cause is the same. Just got to remember that. The object of their inability to function is Donald Trump. It's not Elon Musk. It's not their love-hate affair with Elon Musk because now they're practically begging him to come back into the fold. I'm surprised they, you know, there was a really funny message on Jesse Waters the other day. A guy sent in a text message to Jesse Waters that said, when this all happened, he said, Jesse, I'm so mad, I'm going to go out and key my own Tesla. I thought that was hilarious because that's the craziness level that we're at the moment. And if you can't see it, because this is why you've got, if we don't laugh about this, I tell you, get a gun and shoot ourselves in the head. Elon says he's not going to pay into any more campaigns. He said that in a very recent interview just after he left the White House. And I think that's a great idea. I don't think he should pay into any more campaigns. I think he should stay out of it. Let them do what they need to do. If he finds somebody that he wants to back financially, back them. Don't make a big deal about it, just back them. Do what George Soros does, send them a check for $200 million. Nobody has to know about it. You don't have to make a big show about it. We're not Democrats here, you know. We don't talk about the war chest. Trump won 2 elections with barely a chest, let alone a war chest. You know, he was lucky to get through it with an ear. So I think that's a great idea, Elon. Stop messing with politics. Do your thing. Build rockets, build robots, build cars. Take us to Mars. Take us back to the moon so we can see if they landed there in the first place. He needs the left to buy his cars and his robots. Remember that, which is why I bought shares, because from all reports, these robots are going to be in every second house by 2030. And that's not far. That's like 4 years away, people. 5 years away. 4.5. Believe that we're halfway through 2025 already. So he needs both Democrats and Republicans and anyone in between to buy his cars and his robots and his Skylinks and all of that stuff. Because without all of that, he soon is no longer the richest man in the world. Those rockets cost lots of money. I don't know if you saw, there was a clip the other day with, I think, Ted Cruz, and there was a whole bunch of them in there at SpaceX, and it was like a room. I don't know how big the room was, but there was like hundreds of these rockets that he uses for these test flights. And, you know, he admittedly said the one where he had President Trump there prior to him winning the election, and it didn't come back to land in the arms. they blew it up, gets blown up. It's millions of dollars, like nothing to him, chump change. So remember, he needs us as much as we need him if he wants to remain the richest man in the world. Donald Trump's money and legacy is in real estate. There's always going to be a need for real estate as long as there's people and humans that need shelter. So Donald Trump, whether he continues to build high-rises or small houses for itinerant homeless, he'll always have a business to go to. Donald Trump had the phone call with Xi Jinping. They're probably at sort of cross purposes, which with this Elon thing happening, because Elon is heavily financed by China. The other threat that Elon made was Donald Trump's got 3.5 years left in his administration, in his term. I'll be around for the next 40 years. Choose wisely. Now, like, if that's not a threat, I don't know what is. So, respectful relationship with Xi Jinping or not, President Trump, you should keep your eye on that little relationship between Elon Musk and China, because when he says things like choose wisely, I immediately feel like it's a threat. Now, there was, I don't know if anybody watches Rumble, there is a channel on Rumble called Sly Fox, and they are actually on their channel, they have the art of the, what's it called? Art of the Surge, which is the Donald Trump in-house documentary. He had embedded a couple of reporters embedded with him. God, I wish that was me. But he had a couple of embedded reporters with him, just like, you know, young guys that took a chance and managed to find an in somehow, and they got like unfettered access for 8 months or something like that, a year. And they made a first part of this series, Art of the Surge. I think it had 6 episodes in it, and it led all the way up to Butler. And then, of course, the election win, and then the second part takes up, what does it, the second part take all up to the election win? I think it takes up to the election win and just after. Anyway, there are a lot of personal clips. As you know, Elon was with Trump day in and day out towards the end of the campaign there. He was all the White House events, all the balls, all the this, all the that, talking to all the, you know, highfalutins. And there is a segment in, I think it's the second or the first part, where Elon Musk says, and I marked the time, but I didn't mark the episode, 14.49 minute mark. He says SpaceX has alien level technology. So what the hell does that mean? Like, alien level technology can only mean one thing, if you ask me. It means they've got an alien somewhere and they're like dissecting its ship and its body. We've all heard the reports. We all know about Roswell and all of the stuff. Been to Roswell, it was fun. But what the hell? I mean, I read something else the other day and I can't remember where I read it because that really pisses me off. My computer shuts down and I lose everything. Anyway, I was reading something about this hover technology stuff that they're using. Did I read it to you the other day? I think I read it to you the other day. Yeah, I did. I was just talking to my husband who's sitting here. And they've already got this shit. They've had it for years. Years. Like, we are such dumb. No, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the censor. Where's the censor? We are such dumb. Because we are just getting duped by these people. Like MK Ultra, we're doing some like reading and watching some series and documentaries and stuff about MK Ultra. The shit that they've done to us, like, oh my God, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Anyway, so as much as I think Elon Musk has been absolutely important to this campaign, absolutely has uncovered a truckload, if not several truckloads, if not quarry loads of shonky shenanigans, fraud, waste and abuse at Doge. Completely thankful for that. I wish he would come to Australia and Doge our bloody government, because we could certainly use some Doging. But he's got to remember what happened to Bud Light. So, as I said, going back to he needs us to buy his shit. If MAGA decides to Bud Light Elon, he could be in trouble. Because remember when they were burning down Teslas? Sean Hannity went out and bought one. Donald Trump went out and bought a Tesla, proudly presented it to the world. Everybody on the right was buying Teslas in support of what they were doing to Elon Musk and his Tesla businesses and his cars and anything that had the Musk symbol on it. Like, we all saw it. We all saw the keying. We all saw the burning of dealerships. We all saw that with our own eyes. There is no denying it. We saw it. We jumped in. Well, I didn't personally buy a Tesla, but I did buy some shares. We all jumped in to help out. We all jumped in. Now, as easily as we jumped in, we can jump out. You know, he's banking on the laziness of humanity to keep selling his robots and his stuff. You know, that we'll just get lazy and forget that he ever said those things. Remember, the symbol for Republicans is an elephant. Elephants never forget. So, okay, on the other end of what he doesn't like, what he's got to also take into account is what's good. What's good about the bill? And the first thing that my mind gets drawn to, the first thing is the bill will make no tax on tips and no tax on overtime permanent. Permanent. It extends the tax cuts, which everybody knows made a big difference. And when inflation starts coming down, you'll start feeling that tax cut in your wallet. When all of this goods and services start reducing again back to normal levels, or what feels like normal levels, or to a level that we can cope with on a day-to-day basis, you will feel that transitioning of extra money, being able to stretch out your pay a little bit longer, being able to buy the special purple broccoli. Do you know what I mean? These are the things we've got to take into account. That will be made permanent. The tax cuts will be extended, hopefully with the eye of making them permanent. The no tax on Social Security, hopefully with the eye on making it permanent. The tariffs that are imposed, if the legal freaking side of things, if the lawyers and the judges and the justice system will just keep their grubby hands off of the administration and the executive branch, the tariffs will bring income in to help pay the payments that will be due on the credit increase at the end of the financial year, or twice a year, right? So these impositions of, everybody thinks that are impositions of tariffs, they worked in the first administration. Why wouldn't they work on a broader scale? Why wouldn't they? They only don't work if we don't allow them to work. And at this stage, the legal system is throttling the advantages that could be brought into the country by these tariffs. Let's not forget, in the first 100 days, he brought in over $7 trillion worth of business to America. So companies are now finding land, starting to break ground, fixing contracts, getting permits, all of these things. These are the things that are going to help pay for the big, beautiful bill. Now, whether it gets split up and made into a slim, trim bill that Elon wanted, we don't know. But the fact of the matter is, Elon has to work with the administration and acknowledge at least the good things, the wall, the border patrol, extra people, the extra money for all of the things that these will make permanent, things will make permanent. Once that goes into law and is signed by Donald Trump with his presidential pen, that they're not something that will have to come up again because they're already law, unless some fool tries to have that law changed, right? And they will be seen for what they are, as greedy assholes that just want to make Americans' lives miserable. So, you know, anyway, I think that's about as far as we can go with the Elon Musk and Trump brawl, because as I said, things are settling down. Trump paid him a few compliments. Musk sent him a love heart. You know, there for you, baby. We're there for you, baby. Last but not least, of course, is Abrego. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is home again. Home. On home soil. Hang on a minute. That's right. He doesn't belong in America. He's not American. He's Venezuelan because he's from there. So anyway, the DOJ and whoever else was involved, maybe Kristi Noem, have abided by the court's ruling and facilitated Kilmar Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. The usual Democrats have been online with smiles from ear to ear. He's getting his due. He's getting his due process now. They're all happy. So what they don't realize is what they've done is they've burdened you with another debt. This man, for all intents and purposes, is now another debt on the backs of the people of America or the county wherever he's going to be held, tried, whatever. I believe was Maryland, not far out of Washington, D.C. So Virginia will be copping that bill. The residents of Virginia, of the state of Virginia, will be paying for the prosecution of Kilmar. They will be paying for what undoubtedly will end up being his possibly life sentence in an American federal supermax prison for heinous crimes such as child trafficking, amongst other disgusting and heinous criminal acts that he's committed over the last 3 or 4 years that he was in country. I believe he was deported and returned during Biden's administration. So, you know, there's that. Like Newsom and Bass are all going off about these ICE raids. I say again, like, none of this stuff would have happened. Garcia wouldn't have gotten caught up in the whole mess to begin with. None of this would have happened if the officials would just let the ICE guys and the Custom and Border Patrol guys do their freaking jobs without pushing back, without victimizing every hoodlum in America that's crossed the border since Joe Biden opened it in 2021. Like, this is the state of the nation where we are at this point in time. And from my point of view, it's just a joke. Like, there was there was something that I heard the other day on a report where somebody was saying, it was either a report or a tweet, where somebody actually said that, oh, the poor guy doesn't even speak English. He can't even speak English. I can't remember if it was a congressman. God forbid if it was a congressman. Because there is goddamn video of him being pulled over by the police speaking English while he was trafficking 8, I don't know, Mexicans, Colombians, whatever they were, into Texas or somewhere. He's speaking English. You people are fools. You're such degenerates that you can't even be bothered to, like, Google something anymore. Like, really, really stupid to go off on that, saying he doesn't speak English, give the poor guy a break. I'll bet you $100,000 that if at any point in time Kilmar's wife, the wife that they paraded out for the few weeks saying, bring him home, bring my husband home, I guarantee you that if for 1 second one of those people knocked on her door and said, listen, love, he's been let out on parole and he has said that he's staying here and you're going to be his sponsor, that bitch would run for the fucking hills. I'm sorry for swearing, but she would run for the goddamn hills, because the only reason she fronted all of those people at those rallies is because she wanted a TikTok account, or she wanted she was getting some sort of money, some sort of investment from someone somewhere, trying to make her the victim. Oh, my family is suffering. Everybody knows, everybody's seen the police reports where she applied for restraining orders, not once but twice. They've heard the recordings with her voice. We've heard her voice on the rallies. Now we've heard her voice in the police recordings where she states that he punched her in the face in front of her children. If he was forced to return to that lady's house, she would self-deport herself to El Salvador. I guarantee you $100,000 that's what she would do, because this woman was only in it for the clickbait of it all. She never wanted him back. She never wanted him back. And she still doesn't. Believe you me, if he gets off, she ain't going back to him. I mean, he ain't going back to her. Unless, of course, she's forced to. And then something even worse happens at his hands. Whose hands is that blood on? I'd like to hear. I really would like to hear, because this is beyond a joke. The amount of money, dollars, time, and people power that is wasted on this one criminal person, idiot, goddamn loser, that is just a total waste of space, should never have been necessary. He's as popular as crickets. What can I tell you? I mean, even to the Democrats, they all quickly walked back their comments of, how he's a family man and, the father, the loving, caring father, the fine, upstanding gentleman from Maryland. They walked that back really quick, We saw how well that aged in real time. And now it's all about due process. Glad he's getting his due process. Well, guess what? He already had it. He had it twice. He was deported, he returned, and he had another deportation order. He had his due process. Now you've forced Americans to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to relitigate the same goddamn case. Bunch of idiots. The judiciary has no place in meddling in the executive branch's immigration laws. They know it, we know it. Somehow, again, we're allowing it to happen. So, you know, what else can you say? What else can you say about that? There's nothing else you can say. Let's hope that these riots calm down within the next few days. Hope that the Marines on the ground will assist in that. It's going to be a long haul because they're not just going to be able to like clear it all out and then go home tomorrow because they'll just reconverge. We know this. This is a long, dragged out process. It's going to be a long, dragged out process. Let's just hope it is a successful one in the earliest possible time frame. I guess that's all we can hope for. Anyway, so as I mentioned also in my chat info, my show info, going to play you a little bit more of my interview with Jack Maxey, just a few minutes. I'm just going to, at random, pick a spot and play it. Just a few minutes of it because I now, as I said, have secure internet. I am going to start the 4-part series of my exclusive interview with Jack Maxey, the original Hunter Biden laptop whistleblower. And it's been a long time coming, believe me. We did this interview quite a few weeks ago now. So I've got to get my shit together. And hopefully we can start playing it in the next few evenings. I do have a couple of other commitments that may prevent me from playing it. I don't know if it's a morning thing. I think it's an evening thing. So it's going to have to be like a mid-morning thing for me. And sometimes I'm up very late and mid-mornings sort of end up being early afternoons. But either way, we are going to get this to you by hook or by crook. But now I'm just going to pick over to here. Let me go to this one. There we go. And I'm going to press play. And we're going to play, I'll just play like 3 minutes of it and we'll see how we go. Okay. This is coming up soon, so if you want to see the rest, you better stay tuned or subscribe, like and share this channel, and you click the bell and you'll get an instant notification when this comes up. Now, remember, this is going to be exclusive to Rumble. I'm not going to stream this on the Twitters and the socials and all of that. Just going to do it exclusively to Rumble, so you will be able to watch it all there. I will post it on the socials, but it won't be playing live through the socials or on YouTube as this podcast currently is. So, without further ado, have a listen. Hope you enjoy.
To Elon Musk, he's going to be in charge of the budget.
My friends and I have
talked to my guy
that.
Hegseth.
Yep.
He can't because he chooses these people who have no experience. I mean, Hegseth's wondering why, oh, everybody hates me. They're coming after me. You brought your like 3 friends from high school to be your staff. And all you do is walk around doing push-ups and flexing for the enlisted females. And what are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you know? What's your experience? It seems to me Fox News and an adoration of Bibi Netanyahu are the 2 major criteria for being on the committee. And that's not what anybody signed up for, because he promised he would end the Gaza war and he promised that he would end the Ukraine war.
Yeah.
And he loves to run around and say, that's not my war, that's Joe Biden's war. Nixon played that game too. So Vietnam was his war. And it's going to be his war.
He would be silly to play that game, wouldn't he? Because everybody very clearly heard him say over and over and over again, I would have it finished on day 1. It'll be done. Day 1, by day 1, it'll be over.
Well, it's a character flaw, right?
The White House, I think, at one stage was the comment.
He treats us like he's a real estate agent showing us some apartment in Brooklyn. I promise I'll fix the sink if you guys just sign here on the dotted line.
Yeah. And I love him
everything
too.
is
It's
shooting
like...
from the hip. And,
yeah.
and remember this, Owen, his personal attorney for 35 years, who's the worst person on planet Earth, chose him. Guy, what was his name? Eccleston, the guy who was his accountant 30 years, chose him. And then, once these guys get taken down, it's not like, hey, my best friend, I made a mistake. I wish you'd talk to me, Like, they're the most awful people on planet Earth. Look at Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, blind, adoration, threw his entire life away at the feet of Donald Trump. And people like General Flynn and others were telling him to repeat nonsense like Ev Group in Dusseldorf and the Kraken and all this nonsense. My data team submitted tons of stuff to the courts, or they submitted it on my behalf. No one ever called me in to say that my data was incorrect. These guys were surrounded by charlatans who were placed in their offices by the U.S. intelligence service to undermine the recount from almost day one. These clowns went along with it. This is why nothing ever happened. And I still want to know why it is that General Flynn seemed to have a little telephone relationship with Garrett Ziegler in the West Wing through all of 2020. And surprise, it's Garrett who brings General Flynn and Byrne and Powell in for the surprise visit in the Oval Office that was unscheduled.
Okay, now go back to my camera one. There we go. So there you go. That was about 3.5 minutes or so of late in the roundabout second to last hour of our marathon 5.5-hour interview, 5-hour interview. So if you are interested in hearing what Jack Maxey has to say about such things, and sorry, my husband's just turned his phone on. He's just watching something on YouTube and he had the volume turned up, so you might have heard that in the background. My mic's up full bore, so you would have probably picked it up. So yes, again, if you would like to hear further what Jack Maxey had to say and his inside story of what he experienced throughout COVID and his time on War Room and before and what he's doing now, please stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe right now. Down the bottom there should be a join button and you should be able to join. It's measly $5 a month, and you can help support me getting possibly more interviews like this one. I do try my hardest, and I'm excited to bring this to the greater public. So with that, I'm going to bid you all farewell and say goodnight. It is 11:35 p.m. Still the 10th of the 6th, though, so we're still currently on the same day, and I'm about to get all of this makeup off and put my pajamas on and maybe watch a movie with my husband. We'll see how we go. But thank you all for joining me. I have no idea how many people have been watching the stream. I'm going to be excited to check that out later. I'll see what the numbers were. I hope that people tuned in and were enticed to stay and watch a little bit longer. It's really hard to pull off a show on your own when you're talking to yourself for almost 2 hours. So little credit, maybe a little pat on the shoulder from myself for that. So thank you again for everybody who tuned in for 2 minutes or a half an hour or the whole 2 hours. Thank you again. Please like, subscribe and share. And as always, we are going to tell you that you always have to keep the faith. You've got to follow the facts, and you've always got to find the fight, because without the fight, there's no fight. Have a great night, guys. Have a great day. MAGA out.